Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Coffee Time with Coach Smalls. Listen, today is fabulous. I was just telling them on IG, today you have everything you need to be amazing. And you can only be this amazing today because tomorrow you have a brand new amazing to be. And nobody else can duplicate that. They can try. I was having a conversation, I think it was AJ was on the line. We was talking, and AJ was like, I don't mind telling people what I plan to do. Even if they steal my idea and go with it, run with it. It does not matter. Because at the end of the day, they do not have me. Think about that. Somebody can start. Benny Mo, what up, fast? Worry about listen, everybody's coming in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Brother Mike in the building. Everybody who's on this live, have everything you need to be amazing this day, right now. Think about this here. You just did an amazing thing. You woke up, right? What do you thank the Creator? Not. Let's think together. The Creator of all things, I thank you for giving us this day, this moment. Thank you for allowing us to be within our realm that we love and enjoy. Thank you for allowing us to have this time, this space, and share this energy. Thank the Creator. Thank you so much. So it doesn't matter how you do it. Thank the Creator because guess what? Whichever Creator you believe in, I don't care who, what, I don't care what you call the Creator or energy, whatever it is that you believe in, guess what? It allowed you to be in this moment. I'm grateful for that because it did not have to be. If you are on to looking for a new job today, starting your career, changing your career, whatever it is today that you are looking for, I want you to think that you already have it. I'm going to put it out there in energy and send them good vibes to you that you already have it. Go ahead and claim it. Go ahead and be amazing. Let me type that in here. Go ahead and be amazing today. Because I think a lot of times we forget that daybreak was good. I think we forget that. Let me put that in all caps. Y'all know I like to type in all caps. Go ahead and be amazing today. Nobody can do that like you. Like even if they wore your shoes, put on all your clothing and everything, they cannot be you. Go ahead and be that amazing you. I promise you one thing. They can duplicate everything, but they cannot duplicate you to the T. You know what I'm saying? They say flattering is a form of, I don't know, like an honorable mention, I guess, something like that. Whatever the wording is, it's early in the morning. Don't worry about it. Tony, good morning to you. Um, Diva on Wheels, good morning to you. I'm at the point now where I'm good. Thank you for being that. Thank you for seeing enough in me that you want to duplicate what it is that I do, what it is I'm planning to do. I was in Zoom yesterday, sleepy as I don't know what, right? Sleepy as I don't know what, I promise you. And I'm saying to myself, what, how am I going to retain all of this information? Because I was just like really exhausted. And so I started recording and I'm listening to stuff. How about I met some folks that were into some things that I want to be a part of in this Zoom, right? Glenda, good morning to you. And I reached out and I said, hey, the funny thing is they didn't have you couldn't, you turned the private messaging off on Zoom. They turned the private messaging off. So you had to speak to them directly in front of everybody. So I sent the message, hey, I really would like to talk to you outside of this meeting about some things that I'm interested in. The response was, hi, Jah, I would love to speak to you. I've always been a fan of your work. Now, mind you, I don't, I'm not going to say I've not met this person, but I don't remember meeting this person. I'm not going to tell y'all now. I will, once things happen, I'll tell you who it was. But she says that she had been a fan of my work. And for me, it has always been something to know that people call themselves a fan of your work. I'm not used to people saying they are a fan of my work. Good morning, Marissa. Sound Dr. Allen, what's up, brother? I did not know. I still don't know how to address people saying that they are a fan of my work. And it's not that I guess for me, I know that that's why I love talking to AJ. I hope he pops up in here today because I definitely bring him up here today. Um, I know that these poems are not for me, right? I know I write these poems because it's what I feel, but it's a message that I want you to receive, and that you is whoever receives the message. If I write something and you read it or you hear it, know that there was something within that poem that was just for you. And I write it so that you get to hear it, right? Whatever that might be for you. And um, when that happens, you don't realize how it affects other people. You don't realize the level that it takes other people to when they receive whatever they receive from your work. Sometimes people get things that you didn't necessarily put out there, but at the same time, it is what it is, right? It goes. And when they get it and they say things like, "Oh, I've been a fan of your work. Oh, I love your work." When people, I have quite a few folks who, no matter what it is that I put out, whether it's a book, whether it's a video, whether it's a poem, whether it's a shirt, they see something, my mug, they have all of my merchandise. So I'm preparing to do some special packages for them because of that. When you have people that support you that much, 100% like that, you need to do something. And I plan to do that. I plan to actually put together a special package for those folks. I got Wits and I talking about a few things. Today and tomorrow is going to be a very exhausting 2 days for me. I have plenty of work to do. I'm going to be so busy. I am going to be off the radar for a great big deal of today, but that's fine. That's fine. That's what we do, and I'm happy to be able to be in a position to do so. So yeah, y'all just get ready to take this ride because it's on and popping. It's on and popping. And I've never, I don't believe I've loved my work. No, I can't say that. I can't say that. I can't say I love my work now more than any work that I've done before. It's just a different thing. Because when I used to train professional basketball players in high school and college players too. When I was training those basketball players and playing against those guys, uh, that was a great time for me. When I was training people who were on a level that I've only dreamed to, be on. I'm a fan of your work. Marissa, you are amazing. Let me tell you something. Thank you. So I'm a fan of your work too. Here's another thing that I tell people all the time. There's nothing wrong. Mike, what you have for breakfast? Go ahead and write it up there, bro. When people say, I'm a fan of your work, right? It makes you remember why you write. Gina, good morning to you. It makes you remember exactly why you write, why you do the work that you do. And thanks, Mike. Mike said we all are fans of your work. That's awesome. It reminds you why you write and what's the purpose behind your writing. What are you writing for? I don't write because I don't have anything else to do. I write because I enjoy it and I have something to say. And I write now. I've graduated to a point where I've learned to turn my emotion. I turn my writing into an emotion in itself. I can, if whether I'm reading it or it's memorized, I can actually dance with it. Like this wasn't always easy for me. And a lot of people that when they're beginning to recite their poems and step into the realm where they're doing it live, it's not as easy for them to turn off the I got to be cool moments, right? You got to turn that I'm cool moment off in order to move to the next phase. And that has always been a goal for me to reach, and I've reached it. I've reached. I also realized that there's within that there's a few steps you have to take to maintain that, and I'm learning those steps, and I coach those steps, and I teach those steps. So yeah. Mike said he has sausage, onions, green. Let me put this up here. Sausage, onions, and green peppers, omelet, hash browns, toast, tea with honey and lemon. Man, Mike, I'm just going to start getting up early. I need to get up early and fix me a wholesome breakfast like that. Because Mike be having the breakfast going on. So it is Black History Month, right? So I want you to put your Black History moments up in the feed. Talk about Black History Month. I'm going to do a few haikus that I have. in honor of Black History Month. And yeah, hopefully you will enjoy some of it. Just a few haikus. All right, since y'all on. And they will hunt us just like the game they've made you. Damn, America. If you don't get it, we can talk about it. Don't worry about just typing your feed. From clay he made us. Black Lives Matter lines the streets. I guess we're home now. Whispers raise arm hairs. Riots raise hands and white flags. And still, I can't breathe. Yeah. Them, those who hate us, we, the people they forgot. Hashtags call their names. Let's see. Yeah. Funny how life sounds like something from a movie. No one laughed in Roots. Ooh. Yeah, that's yes. Ooh. Yeah, I like that one. Sometimes we hear them, even when they say nothing. Constitutions scream. That's heavy. That's heavy. I like this one too. Respect the laws and obey what master has planned. You thought you were free? Yeah. You can't say y'all because y'all is too many people. Still not enough us. I'm telling you, yeah. Your breakfast makes me jealous. Yeah, Mike, your breakfast make people jealous all the time, bro. Kelly in the building. What's good? Okay, let me see what you're saying. Peace and blessings, King. Brother John, not only am I a fan of your work, I'm a fan of you, the humanitarian, the teacher, the leader, and coach. Kelly, that is such an amazing comment to give. Thank you so much. So appreciate that. That just made my life that much easier to fight through this day. Makes me push a little harder today just because of that. Yeah. Where is AJ? Somebody sent AJ. No, I don't know where AJ is. When you say natives, who are you referring to? This is not your home. Yeah, man. Maybe this time you might want to consider this. I like to throw hands. Oh man, I got yeah. I'm gonna read some other stuff too. When SoundCloud breakfast makes IHOP shut down. Listen, I don't like eating out. I like to eat at home. I prefer to eat at home. I know people like to eat out. Mike Truth in the building. What's good, family? If you're just coming in, thank you so much. I just read a few haikus that I have written down. It's Black History Month. I want you to type in your Black History moments. Type in something that you learned about Black History Month, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about it. There's a picture of a former slave, right? And his back is wept up. You've seen it all over the place. He's usually sitting like this, and his entire back is just full of scars from being whipped. And his name is Gordon, right? Gordon is his name. But they called him Whipped Peter. His name is Gordon, but they called him Whipped Peter. He's got like all of these lumps. If you type in anything about you know, images of slaves and things like that. If you type in any of those things, you'll see it. And when you see it, it will make your heart just. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because the images that they have of him, that image, the reason why you can find it now is because that's the image that they used to invite other slaves to join the war to fight so they can get their freedom. And so they actually was sizing him up. And when they were sizing him up, they saw the scars. I call them battle wounds. They saw the battle wounds on his back. And those battle wounds, when they saw it, they decided to take a picture and they made that the flyer or the poster, if you would, to tell people to come join the military. Crazy, right? And they made that the poster. That was the stamp to say, yo, come on, and we'll give you your freedom if you join this war. Just fight for us and we'll give you this freedom. A freedom that they didn't get from them either. In fact, if you look back then, they were still on the forefront. The first ones set to cross the bridges and fight, even when they didn't have weapons. They didn't have guns. They said, you go first. And they would be behind them with guns. So here's the enemy of theirs from on one side with guns facing former slaves, if you would, who did not have guns, did not have weapons. And it was just terrible, man. It is just terrible. I when I saw that, it hurt me so to think that, how they use our pain to promote their agenda. Always been that way. It's nothing new about that. They use our pain to promote their agenda. Always has been that way, never changed. You know what I mean? So, Mike, where you at, man? Put something about Black history in here. Alan, what you know about Buffalo Soldiers? Yeah, Alan, what you know about Buffalo Soldiers? You coming on tonight? I think you was coming on tonight. If you got time, I'll bring you on today. Just let me know. Yeah, we need to. And so I've saw what Dick Gregory was not a fan of Bob Marley when he spoke about Buffalo Soldiers. Shirley, good morning to you. He did not like the idea of talking about Buffalo Soldiers. And I think that it was a glorification of what it was that Dick Gregory didn't appreciate. Happy Thursday to you too. Because I love Bob Marley's music, but Dick Gregory, rest in peace, may the Creator receive his soul and be pleased with his life and his journey. It was such an amazing journey. I love to go back. If you don't have nothing to do, go back and Google some of Dick Gregory's lectures and hear him talk. I had the honor of being backstage with Dick Gregory. Y'all probably hear me talk about that all the time, but I absolutely loved it, man. It was the best thing for me. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And what I had to find out was that there's a lot of things that we've lost and not understood because of what people made us understand or introduced us to that we didn't have a clue with. But when you listen to people like Dick Gregory, when you listen to those who actually know a history, know our history, and then know world history, we have to stop doing things like saying Black history, because Black history is world history. You know what I'm saying? It's the evil mindsets of those who want to be in control, who always put flags and positions and want to destroy what humanity could be. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a hurtful thing. It's a hurtful thing. You know what I'm saying? If we all decide to say, hey, rather than saying that I belong to a religion, just say that I'm a believer in the Creator of all things. That puts us all on an even plane. We all are on an even plane now. Doesn't matter what names we call, but we're all on an even plane. Why? Because we believe, right? And whatever religious you believe in, whatever religion, whatever faith you follow, the first thing you have to do in that faith is become a believer. Doesn't matter what entity you're believing in, what superpower you're believing in, you are a believer. So we can change our dialogue. We're believers now. It changes everything. Pictures on my walls of the Buffalo Soldiers. Truth be told, you and I and many people of color who have served in the military uh, of today, in fact, are Buffalo Soldiers. Wow. I guess that is a conversation to have. I know you're gonna be busy today, but I think you're gonna try to come on tonight. So let me know if you can come on tonight. Love to have you on tonight. We come on at 7, and I'll send you a link. AJ and I'll be on at 7. If you can, that's great. If you can, I understand. But if you can, please, 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 please remind me, because there's some things we want to talk about. You know what? I've heard too that there were black high-ranking officials in the Confederate army, on the Confederate side back then. Did not know that. Heard that some time ago. That was something new to me because of what we know who is the Confederacy, but you got to remember, these are people who have nothing, so they steal and claim everything. Everything these people have, they have stolen from someplace else. It's not been something that they have given, that they've gained on their own. The only thing these people gained on their own was slavery. And even in that, they stole that. They stole those ideas from others. I will trying to get this music thing to go. I understand, bro. No problem. No problem. No pressure. No pressure. No pressure at all. If you can, just holler at me and I'll make it happen. Kitty's World, good morning to you. But we got to remember, if you are under control of folks who have only advanced in life by stealing and by being barbarians and taking everything, what else do you have? What else? What do you expect from those people? They're going to continue to be the same folks. They are never going to change that because that's just who they are, right? There's a system here that is based off of what they've taught, what they've stolen, what they've gained, and it is what it is. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you so much, fam. I appreciate you so much. And then maybe you could talk about some of your stuff that you're doing too. I don't know if it's a platform for that you will play some of your stuff on, play a song or two on, but at the same time, come on through and we do what we can. We do what we can. Yeah. So who else has a Mike? What you got for Black History Month? Talk to me. I didn't look on Facebook yet. So tell me what you got, because I know you posted something. Tagged in it. Okay, so just respond to some messages. All right, man. Mike, what you post? Y'all know I'm always multitasking, right? I've learned to multitask. I wasn't always good at it, but I'm getting there. I'm working on it. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. But I'm really happy to see folks during this pandemic time actually pushing themselves to do something. Yeah. I just opened this up, and this message says, if the white man can have a white God, why can't the black man be a black God? And that resonates with me, because look at the images of God and Jesus. The images of Christianity was until you learn that Jesus was actually a black man, was the white God and the finger touching, right? The two white entities. And it's amazing to see how, when you actually do some research, it shows you differently, opposite of what they have been teaching. And we still won't learn. Reginald Lewis, talk to me. Who's Reginald Lewis, Mike? We still won't accept the fact that there are some things that we've been tricked into believing and accepting. We still want to live under this idea that we've been taught properly and we've been taught perfectly well, and we haven't. We've been trained in a way. Our ears have been trained. Our souls have been whipped. And when you have to take these two things and fight against each other, that's an issue number one, right? And if this one controls everything, I think this one is the most important one. And so when we let this one override this one, we pretty much gonna have some issues within our soul, right? Because your mind's telling you no, your mind's saying no, 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 but your heart is like yes, 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 because this feels good, this feels acceptable. The mind doesn't know a balance between, okay, I do this because it feels good versus this is the right thing. It knows the right thing and it knows the wrong thing. And a lot of times we take the heart and we just override whatever the mind is saying, regardless to how correct the mind might be. The correct thing is this, but the heart says this. So you're having this war within yourself. You know what I'm saying? And especially with relationships, that's what happened, right? You know, this is not what I'm signing up for. But your heart is like, oh, this person just makes me sing. This person just does it all. And we get messed up. We talked about him yesterday. Okay. I thought you put something else up today, Mike. But that's something that we've always been, we've always struggled with. And I think we need to revisit how we train this to master this, right? You can't help what the heart feels. You can't change that, but this is going to tell you, you know what I mean? Like, you know, as you see red flags, you don't see red flags with your heart. You see red flags with your mind. Your mind says, okay, nah, that's not it, bro. That's not it. But a lot of times I think we get caught up in that and we don't quite get it. We don't quite get it. Where's the Ain't Right tribe? None of my tribe people in here but me and you, Mike. Where they at? We need to whoop on them. I need Illusion to come on with her mess. You know she always starting trouble with me in the morning. And she ain't even here. Yeah, but mind, heart, and spirit says different things. Listen to spirit. Well, Daybreak, I believe in listening to all three, right? But my question is, when do you decide to let what the mind knows is the right thing to do? When do you let that happen? You know what I'm saying? Because E. Cole in the building, what's good, family? When do you, because your mind knows, no, don't go down that avenue. And your heart is like, but I love this avenue. And your spirit is like, it feels good to be here. Right? But your mind is like, no, but it's a storm waiting for you right down this avenue. When do you allow the mind? See, and I think that's the issue. I think we let the spirit, if you would, and the heart and emotions, we let the emotions take over common sense. It takes over common sense. And we just go with the flow. Think about that for a minute. If you just go with what you feel, you probably 99% of the time going to make some serious regretful mistakes. Yeah. You're going to make some serious mistakes that some are, there are no do-overs. There's no backseas, if you would. So you have to really, really be careful with that, because if you don't, you can end up in some serious. I think that's part of what we do. Lady V in the building, Kendra in the building. I think that is part of what we do. I think we allow our spirit and our emotions, if you would, right? Because the spirit's going to handle the emotions. We allow the emotions to override common sense. And I think we get into more trouble in doing that because of that. Because the spirit can't answer for afterwards. The spirit's like, look, that's just how I felt about it. And the mind is like, nah, I told you already. Before this even happened, I told you that this is what it was going to be. You know what I'm saying? So I think we have to be mindful in that. We have to be very, very careful with that, because that's not always a safe place. All truth, y'all. All truth. Boy, could I speak to that. Right, because think about it. When you let's use relationships, right? Let's use relationships. I like to use relationships because everybody can actually remember being down this avenue at some point. You're in a relationship, you and your partner, whether you're doing good or doing bad, it doesn't matter. When you meet somebody outside of that relationship, whatever that is, and there's an attraction, and there are things that you're thinking about that could be, even if it's a stolen moment, your mind is saying one thing while your spirit and your emotions are saying something else. But you already know, nah, this is going to interrupt this flowing water. This stream is going to be interrupted if I take this route. So what do? You know what I'm saying? Do you allow this to take place, or you go, the mind is telling you, nope, that can't work? Well, Daybreak, I think she said, Daybreak says, I think feelings come from the heart, not the spirit. The spirit directs those things, though. Right or wrong? And you can't, here's what we have to, you can't have one without the other. Your spirit, and you know what I'm saying? Like you have to be careful with the way that you allow yourself to listen or tap into what your spirit is saying. And if we talk about your spirit, right, not the divine, because the divine is always going to be the same. That's never going to change. But the divine giving you what is right from the jump should align with what the mind knows to be right. So let's be correct on that. And so if my spirit is in line correctly, it should in line with what my mind is saying is the right thing to do. And so the only thing that shifts from the spirit and the mind going with the right thing is whatever emotion you allow to come into place and interrupt that flow, because that's a natural flow. If you are a doer of bad things, you enjoy doing things that aren't fruitful, the mind already knows it, but the mind is trained to, you have that tunnel vision to block out what's the right thing to do, and you go with what's the comfortable thing to do in that moment. The emotions come from that. You know what I'm saying? You don't have emotion about a thing, and the mind doesn't have anything to say about it, or the spirit doesn't have a thing to say about it. So it's still it's a balance of all three. You know what I'm saying? It's a balance of all three, and it's what you do within that balance. How do you guide your life through that? Because you can be in trouble. Man says everything starts in the mind. Since we all know that gravity is the earthly rule, every feeling, emotion, instinct, etc., has to be influenced by the mind. Heart and spirit don't always follow suit. Emmanuel, I will go with that 100%. I will go with that 100%. And in fact, let's add on to that. We know that balance, we know that gravity is exact, right? There's no argument in that. That is exact. And so that means that is bona fide. That is here. This is what's going to be. If it goes up, it is going to come down. So we got to wonder, oh, y'all figuring out. If I could host, Mike, I would. But I don't know if I have time because I got a lot of stuff going on. I saw the feed, but I don't know I can host it. But I wanted to. I do want to. So if I get caught up and I'll get free and I can do it, I will. You know what I'm saying? So we got to remember, if personal level soon. Okay, man, that's what's up. If you allow your emotion, even if you say you're going to allow spirit to do its thing, doesn't necessarily mean that is the right thing. It depends on where your spirit is at. If you're in the down and the dumps, your spirit's not going to allow you to do something that's great. You have to make your mind change that spirit. So that's why I say that. It's a balance that you have to have. But the mind is always going to be overall. Always. Always. I'm going to have to start taking notes and create Zoom shows. Zoom shows, but Alan will host this subject. That's what's up. That's what's up, Mike. And I won't be on till after Valentine's Day. Okay. Can handle it. That's okay, Mike. That's what's up. Kenji says we are human beings, right? Okay. Spirit, soul, and body. We are spirits possessing soul that lives in the body. We all live opposite that usually. But and so Kenji, so what I'm saying is you cannot have a balance with all three, with one overpowering all, unless one has the capability to overpower all. And the mind has a way of forcing everything to happen in this way if you tap into what your mind is telling you, because your mind knows right from wrong always, good from bad always. And so it's up in here we get stuck. And here we get stuck, we get crowded in this space, in this cloud, and we're trying to decide what to do because the heart is here, the spirit is here. But this always knows exactly the exact. There's no in between, right from wrong. You can assume this is going to be this. You can assume this will go this way if you do this. But this knows exact. The mind knows that you don't have power over somebody else. The mind knows that you can't do certain things unless you're allowed to happen. And even if you do it, it doesn't mean that's going to go the way you want it to. The mind knows that, even if you see it in a way. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's that balance that we have to have. We have to have that balance. And we have to let the mind do what it does. The mind tells you, hey, listen, that stove is hot. Don't put your hands on it. You might think you can play with the fire like this, but playing with it too long doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a good outcome. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? You can be bold and brave and, hey, I think I can run across this highway without getting by a car. You can think that way. Your spirit can say you can do it. Johnny, go. It doesn't mean that's going to happen. It's a triangle of makeup with the mind at the top. Those that are off kilter are the ones with lopsided triangles. Yeah. But we're comfortable in that. True. Soul is our mind. Will and emotions is neutral and can go either way. And I think going back to what Emmanuel was saying, our imbalance is usually because we don't want to bend to what is exact and what is just. We dig the idea of staying in a realm where it's okay to be misled and misguided because, that's just what I felt like. You ever hear about that? Oh, I felt like doing it, so I did it. You already admitting that you knew that was probably not the best thing, but you just went with the flow. That is the idea of letting the spirit supersede what the mind already know isn't correct. You know what I'm saying? We must unlearn what we've been taught. Absolutely. We are gods who speak things into existence. The Caucasians know that, so they've trained us to keep and speak them continuously into our reality. This is what I've been telling people for so long. Those who are, Venus, good morning. Those who are in control of the systems by which we live, and the systems being religious, financial, educational, all of those systems are taught against what is naturally our flow of life, the natural flow of life for the Black people of this land. That is not an accident. That is not an understatement. In fact, I want you all to go and research who were the founders of the education system that they teach in the United States, and then think about what those people thought about Black people. Research who are the founders of this educational system in this country and look at how they looked at Black people. Welcome to Black History Month. That's going to change you. That's going to make you think about what you learned in school. Half the stuff you learn in school, you never use again. In fact, 90% of it. You learn how to read, you learn how to do math, and you don't even use all of the math. You don't use all the math. Right, Mike, we need to have a whole new network. We need a whole new education system. We need a whole new everything. I look at it like this. The biggest lies that just came out of my mouth. You're right. That is that Eco, you're 100% right. That's a very big lie. Very big lie. If you look at, I'm going to use the Jewish community, and I want you to listen to me very carefully. When the Ku Klux Klan was running here, when the Good Old Boy Network was running rampant, those people that pulled up at the Capitol, right? When that network was they was bold as I don't know what, right? Before they needed 45 to go help them out to promote that. They stood their grounds and said, we need to get rid of two people in this country. Niggers, number one, and Jews. Niggers and Jews. Those are the two people they wanted to rid of in this country. That's not something that I made up. Go back in your history. Something that they've always said. Niggers and Jews. They want to rid them of that. If you look at what the Jewish community did in this country, yes, Jewish. Research what ish means every time you find, once you put it behind a noun. Ish means like. The Jewish community decided to band together and create their own system within the system. Because the ghettos that you live in now as black folks used to be occupied by Jewish community. The Jews lived in the ghettos. They lived in the ghetto. If you go in some apartment buildings in New York City, I don't know about in the South, but in New York City, in some apartments, you go into these houses and they have little scriptures, I believe, that were painted over and plastered over, and it's on the wall. I never knew what those things was. I never took the moment to go there. There was Jewish scriptures. And so Jewish people would move into a place, live for the appointed time, and then they would move into another place. What they did was they created their own system. You had names like Mr. Bell, Mr. Shue, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Williamson, all of these names that were in Congress, Mr. Nelson, right? You didn't have Wolfowitz and Ginsburg and Steinberg. You didn't have those names until the Jewish community got together and then started becoming what they wanted. Laws, they wrote their own laws. They wrote everything they want. In fact, when you arrest someone or go to arrest, in fact, if you say something derogatory about someone Jewish in this country, it automatically sends a red flag off. Automatically. You can be banned from any level of social media, any type of media, any TV programs, anything that has an outlet for you to talk to other people. They will open you up like a pig, split you open, and expose you as an anti-Semite for saying something derogatory about them. They're the only communities that allow that happens with. What they did was they got together and they worked together. How can you go into a black community, and in a black community you have a whole Jewish community that black people can't even walk in? Yes, they have Chinatown. Yes, they have Spanish Harlem. They have these different sects, right? But when you go into a Jewish community, you know it's a Jewish community. They have their own police within a black community. They have their own ambulance within a black community. They have their own hospitals within a black community. They got together, created laws. Now they're untouchable. The problem we have is that we haven't understood that yet. We still arguing that the Latin community is taking our jobs. Half of y'all don't want those jobs anyway. Shut up. Half of y'all don't want those jobs. Another problem we have. So what I'm saying is, we have to create collectively our own education systems. Our own beliefs need to be on a broader scale. What I don't understand is how we're not seeing this the way social media is set up now. This pandemic is showing us that once they shut things down, we're done. If they cut off all the ports, we don't have food, we don't have water. If they shut everything down, we die. We're the first ones gone because we have nothing set up. We don't own no ports to bring fish in. We don't own enough farms to feed us. And if we do, we're not protecting those black farmers away from everyone else who will be taking advantage of them. But the Jewish community got together and collectively created their whole entire entity in existence here. They did not have that strong frame. They were not that, they weren't fixed together like they are now, but they are. And we're the ones that keep missing out because we're too busy fixated with our minds and our spirits fixed on this American dream that is never going to happen for you. Read the book Awakening to 0 Point, The Collective Initiation by Greg Brandon. Okay, I'm going to put that up there so some folks can check that out. Even change their name somehow. Yes, Daybreak. Yeah, they would. They actually live in where we used to, before we were allowed to move in these places. That is where the Jewish community lived in. Before we were allowed to move in those places. That's Black History month. That's a Black History lesson for you. You know what I'm saying? Read about Black Wall Street. Read about how long the Tuskegee experiment went on. Don't just look at the movie. Read how long that went on. Think about the lies that they were told. You know what I'm saying? And we don't even understand that Latin folks be watching how we and the Jews are doing it and learn from our success and failures. Let me explain something about the Latin community that I love. And not just because my grandfather is Puerto Rican. But let me explain to you what I love about the Latin community. They bond together. Yeah, they definitely don't all get along. They don't get along. Yes, they have their issues. Yes, some think that they're better than others because of the places that they lived in and they were born in. Yes. But at the end of the day, especially those who are not born in this America, when they come here, they bond together. They live together. It'll be 5 families in one house. Within just a few years, they have their own businesses. They have their own homes. Everybody moves from that one house and buy their own homes. We don't do that. We're too good to live together. We want to argue all the time. Those people are magnificent in bonding together. Another thing we miss. We're so focused on us being separate from them. They're not even focused on that. They are focused on being the better they can be. We don't do that. We have to have, oh no, that ain't gonna happen. I don't like so much. This ain't it. We have to figure it out. We have to figure it out. And we haven't yet. We continuously fight over nothing. Continuously fight over nothing. And there's so much that we can do if we just do it. Right? This is Black History Month. Welcome to Black History Month. Welcome to Black History Month. So it says a lot about how people grow, and we still sit here. We still sit in the same place. We just won't move. And we won't move because we won't move. That's it in a nutshell. We just won't move. I think we dig the idea of this is just who I am. This is who I'm always going to be. I hate it, and I hate to say it, but at the end of the day, that has always been one of our, my truth. That's always been one of our biggest problems. We're so busy looking outside and the answer within ourselves. Both those books will be in my library real soon, Dr. Allen. That's what's up. Challenge accepted. I like that. I like when people step up to the challenge. I wanted to start. I mentioned this some time ago. I wanted to start a book club. I still do. I'm reading some amazing books with some folks. I still want to. My timing just isn't, and I'm working on that. I'm working on some scheduling stuff that's going to allow me to do some things differently. Got a lot of things that are coming into play, but my timing will allow us to do so soon. And I want us to read these books and have these discussions. I want us to read these books and have the questions and answer some questions, some of the things that we've not thought about, some things we weren't taught. I want those to be a part of what we do every day. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only way we're going to teach ourselves. We have to teach ourselves. Nobody's coming to rescue us and teach us. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to say, hey, here's what you need to have today. Put it on the platter and you're going to win. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So let's start a pact now. What are your plans as far as educating yourself? What are you planning to do? What promise can you make to yourself as far as what you are going to do with bettering yourself? How does that begin? What does that even look like? Let's start there. What does that look like? How do you begin that process? It comes with educating yourself, reading different, thinking different, doing different. You know, shutting down some things. I've learned to shut some things down. Sometimes it's hard. You know, sometimes there's some things that you enjoy doing that you don't want to have to shut down, but you do. In order for you to move to what's next, you have to shut some things down. So what are you going to do to shut those things down? That is a big question. A big question. Until you do that, you're going to stay in the same boat. And I want to see you grow. I'm here to see people grow. I want to start an Ain't Right book swapping group. Got to write book reports, though. That'll be a good idea, Emmanuel. That'll be a good idea. I will promise that I will do the best I can to be part of it, and I will read when I can. I have several publications that I need to read and get behind me at this moment, but I think you should. And those of us who have the time to read it, I would definitely love to come to the discussions. And even if documentaries, like I said, let's look at Dr. Henry Clark's documentary, A Great and Mighty Walk. I preach that documentary like it's a religion, because I love the things that he talked about, the things that we don't listen to, we don't pay enough attention to, and sometimes we end up missing so much because of that. Because of that, we miss so much. And I think that all we need to do is follow suit, read some stuff. Already read floor agreements. Okay, Mike. I want to get to the point where I come on here and say something, you be like, oh yeah, I know that already. I want the whole feed to say, I know that already. Kendra, tell me that documentary wasn't. I watched it 3 times so far. Yes. Listen, that the level of education within that documentary. Let me sip some coffee because I don't think y'all understand. The things that are talked about within that documentary that furthers your understanding of who you are, where you're from, and what you've learned, and who you've learned it from. It is magnificent. You have learned some things that are not only untrue, but things that were fixed in a way that it will take you a lifetime before you realize that you've been fooled, unless you know better. Unless you know better. If you don't know any better, you won't do any better. And you cannot continue to live under an education that is created by folks who think so little of Black people. Dr. Clark will rearrange your thinking. And listen, Dr. Allen, sound doctor. I was on 125th Street in New York City in Harlem, right across the street from the Apollo Theater. And I was, I forgot what I was shopping for. I think I was buying some Timbs at the time. And his brother had some documentaries, and he was like, there was a lot of Black Power books. There was Black Panther books. Message to the Black Man was up there, which I've read that several times. Message to the Black Man is another powerful book to read. Rise and Fall of America is another powerful book to read. There's so many books that I've read, How to Eat to Live, 1 and 2. And his brother was talking. I was hearing him playing through the speakers. And I was saying, who is this? Behold the pale horse. Bro, listen. Man, listen. Will change your mind. I'm listening to this and the brother I was like, who is that speaking? And yes, Glenda. The brother said, look here. Do you know who Dr. Henry Clark is? I said, I do not. He said, look here, brother, take this DVD. He said, I'm not going to ask you to pay for it now because you're going to come back and buy more. This is something you need to have. I went home and I put that documentary in my DVD player. And I was stuck. Bro, I could not move. I kept rewinding and taking out notes. Now, mind you, some of the stuff, just like Da Vinci Code, I've read about when I was young, growing up in the nation. I read some things. I've learned some things when I was really young. So some of the things didn't surprise me. But the way his mindset worked, the way he thought really surprised me because I didn't expect any of that stuff. They teach everything but how brown people are painted in the walls of Egypt. You know, Daybreak, they don't teach. I'm going to tell you what they teach. They teach everything happened before and without Black people. That's what they teach. They'll give you part of the knowledge, but they put themselves in places that they don't belong in. Even as far as being a Semite, being of the Jewish, being of the community of Jews, the original Jew. In fact, if you break it down, before they were called before the religion of Christianity, before we were called a Christian, what were you in your belief? Because Jesus never said, be a Christian. Can't find it. Can't find it. Can't find it. Never said it. Because Jesus didn't call those who follow him Christian. Can't find it. I don't care. Your text will not back that statement to be a true statement that Jesus said that. In fact, the original text will say, Jesus says, die not a believer. And then in translations, they said, die not a Christian. But that is not actual fact. It did not say that. Translation had changed that. So in following the one true Christ, as you call him, would not have been follow him as a Christian according to what he said from his mouth. Two things you need to remember. First of all, he spoke Aramaic, which is a breakdown of African language and Arabic language. And so his name in itself did not even have existence then. That J did not exist in that time. And so they, you know, now you got to go back to Constantine and how he decided to make that, because it was people who were against this, your creator, your savior, if you would. People who are against him that gave the name Christian. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm talking actual facts, right? They gave that title. The title came from people who did not believe or disliked, in fact, hated and wanted to see death brought to that messenger. Paul is the one that created it for Gentiles. J Love in the building. When you know, and this is what they don't teach, right? They don't teach to go back and read the history of what they want you to learn. They say, just take this and go with it. Here's the lesson for the day. This is the lesson for the day. Kendra had a question that I missed. What did she say? Just on the book. I don't know. I missed your question, Kendra. Love one another as you love me. That was the only law. Right. Right. Yes. Yes. In fact, right, the Council of Nicene. I'm gonna post this up there, and y'all go research it. Go research it. Don't love me enough to research it and then have a conversation with me about it, because I don't want you to think that I'm making up some things. Okay, Mike. Okay, Mike. Cool. But go ahead and research this. Not only did Dr. Henry Clark talk about this before, and some people before he did, but your favorite movie, The Da Vinci Code, it was in there. It was in there. It was in there. It was in there. Man, there's so much. Listen, there's so much to add. And listen, we've run out of time. We've run out of time. I love these conversations because you can go back and watch it on YouTube and tell folks to go back and watch it on YouTube. That's why I post the comments up there so you have it and you can go ahead and ask questions about it and study it and come back and let's talk about it some more. Right? Thank y'all for tuning in. As always, man, I love being here with you all, sharing this time. It's so great that this is Black History Month, but I want us to keep Black History 365. Black history is world history. It's not just Black history. Black history is world history. Without Black history, there is no world history. This is where history began with us. And everything happened after our existence already been here. Our civilization had already been here. They had already stolen from our civilization and created their civilizations, which overpower us. Yo, no doubt. I sure will. Remember, you have everything you need to be great. Be creative today. Be amazing today. Be who you need to be today. Just take a minute to love yourself, to focus on yourself, to tell yourself that you are worthy of everything you desire that is fruitful and great. Start this moment off by loving yourself, telling yourself that you could be greater today than you were yesterday. You have everything you need to do so. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow. We're going to comedian Stefan's page, Praise and Worship. I love going over there with them. Let's go and do it, man. So y'all be good. Y'all be blessed. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning, same time.